Picture it. Two men stand at the edge of the same landscape. Same sun, same soil, same tools, same opportunity. Nothing distinguishes them at first glance, but one difference, invisible at the beginning, will determine everything that follows, what they build on. Hi, I'm Lisa. Welcome back to Biblical Reality Check. The parable that Jesus tells in Matthew 7, verses 24 to 27, describes two builders, but the story has nothing to do with house construction. Jesus is naming the core dilemma of every human life: what foundation your identity rests on, something solid and enduring, or something unstable that collapses under pressure. Jesus begins the parable with a simple contrast. Everyone who hears his words and puts them into practice is like a wise man who builds his house on rock. And when the storms come and slam against his house, it does not fall. But everyone who hears his words and does not put them into practice is like a foolish man who builds his house on sand. And when the rain, wind, and floods come and slam against the house, it falls, and great is its fall. This is not a short story about morality. It's a story about psychology, about the architecture of consciousness. The wise builder and foolish builder do not represent two people. They are two selves inside of every person. In psychological terms, the house represents your inner structure, your identity, your emotional regulation, your meaning system, and your sense of who you are. And when I use the term meaning system, I'm not just referring to your beliefs. I'm referring to your entire interpretive structure, made up of your beliefs and worldview, your values and moral framework, your assumptions about people and reality, the stories you tell about your past, and your sense of purpose and identity. All of that together determines what something means to you, not just what happens. That's why two people can go through the same event and come away with completely different experiences. It's because their meaning systems are different. For example, one person experiences failure and thinks, I'm not good enough. Another person thinks, this is feedback, I'm growing. Same situation, different meaning system, completely different psychological outcome. Jesus says the foolish builder builds on sand. Sand represents what's unstable, shifting, and unconscious. Psychologically, this is an ego built on conditioned beliefs, cultural norms, social approval, unresolved trauma, and an unexamined life. In Jungian terms, this is a mind that has not integrated its shadow. The shadow doesn't disappear because it's ignored, but it does become the unstable ground beneath the house. It cannot hold pressure. It cannot hold a life. Jesus further states that the wise builder builds on rock. Rock represents conscious awareness, humility, integration of the shadow self, truth over self image, and presence over reaction. In Jungian terms, this is the ego aligned with the self, not inflated by persona, which is the public face that an individual presents to the external world. When you build your inner self on this kind of rock, you create a Teflon like inner core that cannot be easily shaken. The parable goes on to say that when the rain, wind, and floods come, the house built on rock will continue standing, while the house built on sand will suffer a great collapse. The rain, wind, and floods are what every life faces, from things like betrayal, financial difficulties, a bad health diagnosis, an unexpected loss, a crisis, or even a truth you don't want to face. However, these storms do not create collapse or strength. they reveal it. What the parable is telling us is that we all experience storms. However, the focus of this parable is not on life's storms, it's on foundations. The storm does not destroy the foolish builder's house, the foundation does. The storm simply reveals its fault lines. And this is the psychological core of the parable. Life will always test what you build on, not to harm you, but to show you the truth. The question is, what kind of inner foundation do we have to withstand the storms? Do we collapse in the face of them because we only have the fragile identity and false self to protect us? Or do we stand to face another day because we have an integrated awareness and have built a life built on what is real? Psychologically, this is the difference between emotions being felt or repressed, reality being met or resisted, and responsibility being taken or blame being projected onto something or someone else. Jesus is explaining a law of consciousness, and that is that if your identity is built on unconscious patterns, reality will eventually dismantle it, not to punish you, but to wake you up. The storm is not divine wrath. The storm is life itself, loss, conflict, illness, failure, and so on. In that sense, collapse is not mental or moral failure, it is exposure. An unexamined psyche is an exposed one. Reality applies pressure to reveal truth. Sand feels solid in calm weather. So does an unconscious identity until tested. The wise builder is not better because he built on a foundation of rock. He is simply aligned. Rock is not belief about Jesus, it is alignment with what Jesus embodies. Rock represents conscious awareness, emotional integration, truth over self image, and presence over reaction. The wise builder spends more time underground than above ground. He builds a life that can withstand pressure, criticism, uncertainty, change, and all life's storms without collapsing because his foundation is not emotional, it is structural. In contrast, the foolish builder wants the appearance of stability without the cost of depth. He builds a life that looks impressive until pressure arrives. His collapse is not sudden, but it is inevitable because sand always shifts. So, this parable is ultimately about integration. The wise builder is not wiser because he knows more. He is wiser because he lives what he knows. The foolish builder is not foolish because he lacks knowledge. He is foolish because he refuses to integrate that knowledge. The parable leaves us asking ourselves a question deeper than belief. Am I building my sense of self on unconscious sand or on the rock of integrated awareness? Because the storms will come for all of us, not to destroy us, but to reveal us. The wise builder is not the one who avoids storms, he is the one who is ready for them. Because when everything is shaken, what remains is not what you believe, it's what you are built on. Thanks for watching.